The 49ers will begin the 2026 regular season against the Rams in Australia, a 15-hour flight away from here, the Redwood Forest surrounding the Transamerica Pyramid, one of the iconic skyscrapers in the world. I can guarantee you that Kyle Shanahan is not thrilled about this, and the 49ers can still get a second international game because the Australia game to be held in Melbourne at the iconic cricket ground, which seats 100,000 people, that's a Rams home game. The 49ers have 9 home games in their 17-game 2026 schedule, and they might still give one of those up for the Mexico City game, which is coming in December. So early September, week 1, will be 49ers-Rams in Melbourne. That is confirmed. And then there's a chance that we're going to see 49ers against somebody else sometime in December, about 3 months later at the remodeled Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, where the 49ers last went abroad when they beat the Cardinals by a lot in 2022. Those of you who are thinking about going to Australia, do remember that it won't be summer there. They're in the southern hemisphere, so things are inverted. In Australia, it is going to be, I looked up the weather at that time of the year, September, when the 49ers go. It could be windy, could be a little bit wet, and could be in the 60s, maybe 66, 67 degrees as the average high. So you've got San Francisco summer-like weather in Australia at that time of the year. Look, I'm walking in the middle of the street here. You can get another angle of the Transamerica Pyramid, and we're going to walk down one of my favorite little alleys in San Francisco. This is Verjuice. It's a great wine bar. They're still closed. I'm sure they're going to have some good events here in Super Bowl week. But here behind me is that pyramid with, it's called Hodling Place, this alley right in front of High Horse, and a little map that shows you where the shoreline used to be. So this is cool San Francisco trivia. That black line is where the bay used to extend. They filled out the rest of it with landfill, and they built buildings on top of it. So I'm standing right here where the bay used to end and where the city used to start. Because they filled in so much land, including the land to build this, the iconic Transamerica Pyramid behind me, a lot of ships were abandoned and left underground. And when they were excavating the ground to build the Transamerica Pyramid, they discovered a ship. And I think that even this map, we can go back here and take a look at it. I think this map, that the location of that star is the location of where one of the ships was found, right underneath the Transamerica Pyramid. And then, of course, you've got even more. You've got another ship right up at that spot on the map. There we go. I'm pointing at it right now. So they discovered a bunch of ships underground here in downtown San Francisco. Anyway, from a competitive advantage or disadvantage standpoint, one could be certain that Kyle Shanahan is not going to be happy if the 49ers have to become the first team ever to travel abroad twice in a single season. I think that, was it the Jags who had 2 games abroad at one point? I'm not sure, I can't remember. But if they did, they were both in Europe and they stayed over there. This would be 2 separate trips. Obviously, Mexico City is closer. It's what, a 3 or 4 hour flight away from San Francisco. But Australia is not closer. This would be the longest trip that the 49ers have ever taken for an international game. Then you add in the fact that it's a divisional game against the Rams, and it really takes away a 49ers home game at SoFi Stadium, because whenever the 49ers play the Rams at SoFi, their fans take over the whole thing. The good news for LA 49ers fans is that the 49ers play the Chargers next season. So unless the Chargers and San Francisco are the Mexico game next year, then the 49ers will get to play in SoFi. Taking a step up here in Jackson Square in North Beach. Look, we can cross the street. It's going to be really bright here for a second. But I want to show you guys the Transamerica Pyramid behind me. Don't want to get run over by traffic. I love the corner angle. Isn't that badass? Super cool. We're working our way a little bit closer to downtown. We can walk under some of the columns of the building here as we discuss a little bit more. The Melbourne Cricket Ground, they love their cricket in Australia. It's a stadium that seats 95,000 and it's got room for 5,000 more on top of that. So it's a 100,000 seat stadium. It's an iconic place in Melbourne where the 49ers and the Rams are going to play this week one game. Week one in 2025 was up in Seattle, so definitely a much longer flight for the 49ers on the 777 this time around. They fly United, and the 777 is their wide body, long haul aircraft. The 49ers will fly that even if they're just going to LA. This time they're really going to need those lay flat Polaris seats. I'm going to need my lay flat Polaris seat. This is why I save my plus points on United. They should definitely team up and advertise with us this year since the 49ers are making such a long journey. But that cricket ground, this is the first ever NFL game in Australia. You do wonder how the schedule is going to work with the bye. I'm guessing if the 49ers have to fly 15 hours one way and 14 plus hours on the way back with the help of the jet stream, do they have a bye immediately in week two? It seems that that would be a competitive disadvantage down the road for the 49ers if they don't get a second bye, right? Because you want one to kind of help you out in the back half of that season. So it will be interesting to see what the NFL does from a scheduling perspective for San Francisco. You take a look here, this is Clay Street. Look back behind me, that climbs up into Chinatown and then into Nob Hill. What we're doing is we're basically just walking around the Transamerica Pyramid here, and we will end back at the Redwood Forest. Super Bowl, this is kind of a quiet area right now. This is more financial district in between Jackson Square and North Beach and all the bank buildings here in downtown San Francisco. But a whole heck of a lot going on in that Union Square, Moscone Center area, which is just a few minutes walk away from here. But soon, not too long from now, just a few months from now, the football focus of the entire NFL world, at least for that season opener against the Rams, is going to be moving down under to Australia. And the 49ers and the Rams are going to be the headlining attraction of that football game. They split this season. Mac Jones was the quarterback for the 49ers both times, so the Rams did not have to face Brock Purdy. I'm assuming they're going to be facing Brock Purdy in week one down in Melbourne, which is obviously a big leg up for the 49ers. And you know, the Rams are going to be coming off of a very, very tough NFC Championship game loss to the Seattle Seahawks. But both of the teams will enter this one against the Rams with their most recent games having been losses at Seattle. But health is going to be very important for the 49ers, obviously. They did not get a chance to play the Rams healthy in this 2025 season. So here we are, the Transamerica Redwood Park. This is as San Francisco as it gets. Redwood trees all in front of the skyscraper. Was once the tallest building on the West Coast and has since been passed by another building in San Francisco, the Salesforce Tower. All right, 49ers headed to Australia. We'll talk to you soon.